The build-up to it is fabulous, you know.
The build-up, all day, all year.
The energy and everything about Derby is one of a kind.
Watching the walkover, still get the chills.
It was the Kentucky Derby that got me into horse racing to begin with.
You're creating a memory that's going to last a lifetime.
I mean, everybody wants to win the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, I want to win the Kentucky Derby.
When I was 12, I did an interview for NBC. They said, what do you want to do when you get older? And I said, I want to win the Kentucky Derby.
They get to run in front of 150,000 people.
I don't think you can really get that in very many places.
This is like one of the great weeks in racing. You sort of dream about it all year.
Well, everybody's excited about it, whether they're a casual fan or the horsemen themselves, There's an excitement that builds on this.
I actually just push the button that opens the gate.
I'm an equine veterinarian.
I've been here since Derby week of 2004. I was an 18-year-old kid.
I love the excitement. I love Derby week, and it's always such a big challenge to try to win a race here, much less the Kentucky Derby.
Horses get one chance in their entire life to make it to the Kentucky Derby. You get one opportunity when those gates open.
It's raced only once a year. Only one person gets to win it.
Derby week is special because Louisville does a great job of getting the entire community involved.
Because Louisvillians for generations have been welcoming the world into their home, into their city, every year for the Kentucky Derby.
The world is focused on horse racing, Churchill Downs and the Kentucky Derby.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Churchill Downs as we're here tonight to draw the 151st Kentucky Derby.
So much at stake in terms of the draw, in terms of running style, in terms of who you draw up next to.
So much training goes into a race like the Kentucky Derby, but so much depends on the post position draw here. There's a whole lot of energy in the air. It is exciting.
The Derby's always speed. They have to break well, and if they don't break, it doesn't matter what hole you're in. And the jockeys, they know their horses. They're going to have to play the brake, let them roll.
If you ever think you want something, you're going to get the opposite.
Yeah. So it's like... I mean, come on.
Number 8 is journalism. Number 17, Sandman, post 17.
15, render judgment. 18 is sovereignty, Junior Alvarado.
Well, they believe the light bulb has come on with him, and he's settled nicely into Churchill Downs. He's number 18.
Just let him float into the race. We got a week here. Probably schooling the gates again. Just the little things, just iron out the little things and we'll be ready.
It's really unique. It's my favorite part of the job. That's what made me fall in love with training horses, was getting to be able to ride them every day. So I think it gives me a unique perspective on how to train him.
All the teams around these horses are just doing their best to keep them calm, keep them in routine, where they're surrounded by tons of fans. They're getting washed out in the middle of the shed row. They get used to some of that hustle and bustle and handle it extremely well so that they can be as calm as possible getting into Derby Day.
I already feel like I'm one of the luckiest guys in the world just to be able to compete and enjoy this sport. But when you can have it at the highest level, then what more as a horse trainer could you ask for?
Happy Derby Day. $5 million, 151st running of the Kentucky Derby.
We had some rain on and off during the course of this week. I think we've gotten really lucky so far. The racetrack currently sloppy. We know how fast this racetrack dries. We'll see how everything plays out moving forward.
When you walk in here on Derby Day, you have a feeling to you. The other 364 days don't really have that feeling.
I've known for a while it's here. You can see each day it gets a little crazier.
Crowds here. There's a lot of commotion.
It's a lot. I haven't slept much this week, but wouldn't trade it for the world.
People's eyes open wide, seeing a sport that they may have never seen before, seeing it in a new way.
It's just something for everybody.
When you feel the energy in this place, that hour leading up to the Derby is unlike anything else, in my opinion, in all of sports. Most other sports last hours. Derby is 2 minutes.
The closer you got to the race, more the nerves started coming into play.
It's the most coveted race in the world for anybody, an owner, a trainer, a jockey.
Racing fans, the management staff and horsemen of Churchill Downs proudly present the 151st running of the Kentucky Derby, presented by Woodford Reserve.
It is the hardest race in the world to win. Us just being here is a privilege. Obviously getting to win it would be even more so.
I always tell a rider, good luck and be safe.
They're in the gates, and they're off in the Kentucky Derby, and some crowding down toward the inside.
I will put my binoculars right on the race favorite. If something happens to them, that's a story. I need to
First jump, broke okay, broke good. Then I had to make sure that my horse got into a rhythm.
Right below us at the finish line, it's a quarter mile into the race. You can feel it. You get a sense of how fast they're going.
Safe around the first turn, that was very important for me to do.
I'll announce that half-mile time and I'll think to myself, okay, this is 45. Let's look for closers. Or this is 47. Closers are going to have a tough time. You can almost guarantee that the race is going to be won from somebody coming from the back.
Strong opening half in 46 1/5 seconds.
So I will color in my binder that I have for the Derby the silks of various moves horses might make. The far turn is where the Derby is won or lost.
Round the far turn, Umberto says go with journalism, and Sovereignty's following him. Don't forget Sandman, final game, it goes to the far outside too. They're off the turn, here comes journalism, here comes Sovereignty, and they square off, heading to the final furlong of the Kentucky Derby. Sovereignty has taken the lead. It's time for the Royal Blue to don some red. Sovereignty wins the Derby.
Good things happen to good people. You hear me?
The two best horses in the race running down there. I mean, the best horse win, and we're just very happy that it was Sovereignty.
Sovereignty, thank you, Papa. Good boy, thank you. Oh, no, cookie.
They have been so high on Sovereignty all week, and to see Bill Mott win a Kentucky Derby outright, to do it with a rider like Junior Alvarado, he was a difference maker on Sovereignty, so just unbelievable.
I was unbelievably calm to the point where I even thought about it, even during saddling, because everything had gone so well training this horse.
When a Hall of Fame trainer like Bill Mott tells you that, that'll instill an awful lot of confidence, because he doesn't come out with terms like that too often. So I knew this horse was in excellent shape.
Very, very special. My husband, it's a lifetime dream to finish first across that wire, and to do this in a place where we have great memories is really wonderful.
Right when we turn for home, put him in the clear, and that's when he jumped in the bridle, kind of letting me know that I'm ready. So after that, we're just making just little tiny moves just to make sure I was holding my spot, so I was in contention. The crowd cheering and screaming for you, and the feeling that I have that I done this. Coming from my country, just the Kentucky Derby was the only race from USA we were able to watch and start getting in my head, and I said, that would be nice, be the United States right in the Kentucky Derby. Little by little, I started point that out to make it come true, and I think today we just did that.
And so to these great teams, to this great jockey and trainer and owner, that we raise a glass. Let's give it up to Godolphin.
I listened to my first Derby, I guess when I was probably 14 years old, and I listened on an AM radio to the call of the race of Proud Clarion winning the Derby with Bobby Ussery up. From where I started, that was Fort Pierce, South Dakota, by the way. At that time, I couldn't even imagine being at Churchill Downs. I've raced here at Churchill Downs for over 45 years. I held the title for 32 years for the number of wins. Churchill has really been special for me in my growth as a trainer. This was the icing on the cake, but I still want to win more. I'm so proud of everybody that had anything to do with getting this horse to this point, and I'm so proud of the horse. I hope he, can go on and win more races. If he can have some longevity, I think the test of time is probably what determines a champion, and hopefully he can go on and have a good campaign.